We are about to get rolling on NASA's Discovery Space Shuttle that flew 149 million miles over its 39 missions. It spent exactly 1 year, 365 days in orbit over those 39 missions. It took about 4 years to build the actual Discovery Space Shuttle. In contrast, it should take us in the 6 to 7 hour range to build this replica that is a little over 2,000 pieces. So let's go ahead and jump in. What we're building first is the Hubble Telescope that hitched a ride into space on Discovery in 1990. So the Hubble Telescope is basically a huge camera that takes photos in outer space. The actual Hubble Telescope you can see in this photo here, it weighs in at 24,000 pounds and 43 feet in length, which is about that of a large school bus. Hubble has made well over 1 million observations during its time in orbit, many of which have transformed our understanding of the universe. Here are just a few of the photos it's taken. The telescope is powered by the sun via two 25-foot solar panels that we just finished putting on. Now we're starting on the space shuttle itself. You can briefly see here the landing gear, wheels, and springs being added. And fun fact, the landing gear could not be retracted, so once it was deployed, there was only one chance to land. I now want to spend a second speaking to the black base of the shuttle, as well as the black color you'll eventually see around the nose. This is an extremely important part of the space shuttle, as it represents the 23,000 ceramic tiles that protect the shuttle from the 3,000-degree heat that is experienced when re-entering the Earth's atmosphere. Tragically, the failure of these tiles on Space Shuttle Columbia is what caused its disintegration in 2003. Quick note, as we just added the name tag, the name Discovery continued the tradition of naming the space shuttles after exploration ships. One of the ships that Discovery was named after was responsible for discovering the Hawaiian Islands in the 1770s. Here we're building out the rear portion, including 3 main engines that, interestingly enough, are only used to help with initial takeoff and not used at any other point in the mission. NASA partnered with Rockwell International to build the space shuttle between 1979 and 1983. Here are a couple of photos of the space shuttle under construction at the Rockwell facility in California. Now we are applying the shiny radiator panels to the 60-foot cabin doors. The doors were always open during orbit, allowing the panels to absorb nearby heat and keep the shuttle cool. You can see now the ceramic tiles that were added around the nose for that critical heat protection. Last but not least, near the rear of the shuttle, we are building and attaching 2 nodules that represent the orbital maneuvering system, which was the primary mechanism to maneuver or steer the shuttle into and out of orbit, as well as maneuvering during orbit. So we have completed Space Shuttle Discovery and the Hubble Telescope, about 6.5 hours of build time in total, condensed into that 2.5-minute time lapse. As we take a closer look at the Hubble Telescope here, I wanted to highlight the power of this school bus-sized camera. Hubble has captured images of objects that are over 13 billion light years away. So side note, light years is more of a measure of distance as opposed to time, and it is the distance that light can travel in 1 year. That happens to be a little less than 6 trillion miles. So 13 billion light years is 6 trillion miles 13 billion times. I'm just gonna leave that right there and say that is super far. A couple other things I wanted to hit on. The Hubble Telescope, it orbits above the Earth about 340 miles, and it cruises around Earth at 17,500 miles per hour. Now that's tough to comprehend as well, so another way to think about that is it takes a lap around Earth every 95 minutes, something it has done almost 200,000 times during its 30 years of operation. Shifting gears to Space Shuttle Discovery, Discovery was one of 6 space shuttles ever built and one of 5 that flew missions into space. It carried 222 people over 39 missions during its 27-year active life. The actual Discovery space shuttle that you can see in this image here weighs in about 200,000 pounds and is about 122 feet in length, fairly close to the size and weight of a blue whale. Now that was just a fraction, small fraction of the overall liftoff weight, which is over 4 million pounds when you include the rocket boosters and the fuel that you can see here in this Discovery liftoff. One other thing I wanted to show is the flag on one side of the shuttle. If you look closely, you'll see the flag is actually backwards, and that is because there are regulations that require that the stars face forward as if the flag is trailing in the wind. So I thought that was super interesting. I wanted to share. Overall, a very fun build. Here is one last photo of Hubble Telescope on the back of Space Shuttle Discovery. Thought that was great attention to detail by LEGO to incorporate that. I hope you enjoyed the build, maybe learned a thing or two. Feel free again to comment with ideas or requests, time-lapse you'd love to see, or one of those LEGO products you'd love to learn a little bit about its history. So thank you again for watching. I really appreciate it.